Hey there guys, welcome to the next Friday time lapse here on the channel. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for this video. I'm actually going to be making what I call character bands out of duct tape. And it's going to be something kind of new. I haven't really tinkered with this at all on the channel too much, except in this time lapse. And basically what character bands are, these wristbands which you can put character faces onto. So I'm actually going to be making two of them in this video. One of them is going to be Domo, and the other one's going to be a cutout face of Pikachu, which is going to be kind of cool. So I do have a tutorial coming for these pretty soon, so you will start to see that coming to the channel. And I have a whole bunch of cool characters picked out, and a whole bunch of cool different ways of making these. So if you guys like to see like a certain character, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I can work that character in. If it's a character that has like a very kind of like a individual face, or a very like easy face to look at or to cut out, like kind of like Domo or Pikachu here, it'll definitely work. Like kind of like the Adventure Time people is another great example. There's a whole bunch of different characters that they have just like a profile shot of their face if you type it into Google Images, and then you can just use that as your template when you're cutting out the piece here for the wristband. So I'm going to work on the Domo one first. I'm going to cut out that giant red piece, then I'm going to work on his teeth right after that. It's a little tricky just cutting this whole thing out and then sticking it on. A little bit of layering decoration going on here. I just popped a new blade into the hobby knife, so everything should be cutting out nice and easily, which is always nice when I'm making a time lapse. So cutting out all those small white triangles for the teeth. There's the top row. I should say the bottom row, and then this will be the top row here. And then I'm going to peel all those up and start applying those to the piece here. So this one's kind of simple. They're just really cool to make. You can make them a lot bigger than the typical width of the duct tape. I just decided to take two strips, stick them together, and then wrap that around my wrist. But you can make them any size you want to, and they look pretty cool. So it doesn't have to be perfect here. Just kind of give the impression of the Domo teeth there. Be sticking all these on, and then I will be peeling the entire thing up and sticking it on the middle there. Don't want to make it too close to the spot where it actually connects, of course. Just sticking his two eyes on, looks great, and there we go. So I'm going to work on the Pikachu one next. That's of course going to be made out of yellow tape. And I do have a Pikachu face cut out. You'll see that right there. Well, actually, yeah, you'll see that in a second. There it is. So this one's actually pretty simple. Just got the red cheeks. Got a little bit of gleam in the eyes, a little bit of kind of like a mustache smile kind of thing, little nose for Pikachu. And I knew I had to do a Pikachu for this video because it's pretty cool. Huge fan of Pikachu, so had to do it. And this cut out his little tiny nose, and there's his mouth. Kind of looks like a mustache. And there you can kind of see as I cut it out there. And there's cutting out the red cheeks, of course. Whenever you're cutting out something on a circle, you don't want to, kind of go in a huge angle and put a lot of pressure on the hobby knife blade, because that'll eventually just snap it right off in your cutting mat. I typically do that a lot if I'm not, if I'm kind of careless, if I'm not paying attention. So you definitely want to go slow when you're cutting out a circle, especially a circle that's that, small, and you have to do a lot of curving. So I'm going to be using this paper piece as my template, kind of just using that to stick everything down. Have a little bit of these tiny little kind of like hexagons here as the gleam, except they're really tiny, so you can't really tell they're hexagons. They look just like circles unless you examine it really closely. So then I'm going to stick on his mouth. I still think it looks like a mustache. I don't know why, but it kind of does. So sticking there on, and there we go. And now I'm going to just take a small strip of tape. You can of course use Velcro for this. I'm actually going to be using Velcro in the tutorial coming up, but decided to use just a little strip of duct tape for the back here. And that's how to make some pretty cool character bracelets. Like I said, I will be filming a tutorial for this, so you'll see these coming to the channel pretty soon. Definitely pretty cool to make. The options are pretty limitless whenever you're trying to make like any kinds of characters, and they do come out looking pretty cool. Definitely a lot thicker than the traditional wristbands that you see kids wearing nowadays, but they've kind of fallen out of favor a little while. So I'm going to prop those up so you can see them. And I will be featuring probably two different characters for the tutorial coming up. So hopefully you guys liked it. There'll be giveaways coming soon to the channel, so watch out for those.